Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new podcast here on Arsenal Aura. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great time wherever you are. My name is Michael, and I'm here to talk about Arsenal. So, Arsenal went to King Power Stadium yesterday and they beat Leicester 2-0. It's always a good feeling when Arsenal beat Leicester, I think mostly because Jamie Vardy and now because Ruud van Nistelrooy. So as much as you want to win to stay in the title race and keep putting pressure on Liverpool, there's also something extra to be added because of those two guys. But at least Leicester have Jamie Vardy, although he's like almost 40. They still have a striker. Arsenal don't have a striker currently. But similarly, they somehow found Merino. And he discovered his striker instincts with a brace. Very late in the game. The first 45 minutes, I thought they were interesting. You look at last year when Arsenal went to Dubai, they had the winter break, right? So they went to Dubai, and when they came back, they scored like 30 goals in 5-6 games, which was, amazing. And obviously, you wish and you think that, hey, Arsenal have gone to Dubai again this year, obviously for different reasons. There was no winter break. It was just that Arsenal got eliminated from the FA Cup, so they had a longer period without a game. So they went to Dubai, and you imagine, right? We're going to Dubai, we're going to come back and start smashing teams 4-5-6-0, tennis scores and whatever else. But obviously it didn't happen. The first 45 minutes were very dull. Arsenal were playing like they haven't been to a vacation, they haven't been to a relaxation, they haven't been to the warm countries. They played with the famous handbrake on. That was my opinion, at least from seeing the game. However, they managed. They improved in the second period, but unfortunately, and I don't like pointing out individuals, but Raheem Sterling is a ghost or half of the ghost of the player he once was. It's obvious that his confidence is really, really, really low. He's trying, I can give him that, but he doesn't seem to be able to produce anything. He just trips, he just falls over. Sometimes he overcomplicates things. He might try a simple pass, or maybe even he can try sometimes having a shot. That this is something in general that has something to do with Arsenal. I don't know, we're incapable of shooting, and I'm pretty sure we have some really good players in the team that might have a strike or two in them. Raheem might be one of them. I'm not sure. But at this moment in time, again, making a comparison with another Chelsea reject that Arsenal put their faith in, Willian, I think the difference is Raheem Sterling really tries. He tries to make something happen. I don't know exactly. His mojo is not there anymore. His confidence is gone. But Willian, he didn't even seem like trying. It was very, very weird. But Arteta came in the second half towards the end with a great move. He sent Mikel Merino. I mean, to be honest, he doesn't have many options. So I think anything that he brings in and works might be a miracle move. Leicester, I think it's a team that was pretty easy to beat, right? They're in a very poor form. They're in the relegation battle. They'll probably get relegated, to be honest. The next games will be so much more tough and difficult, right? Against West Ham, against Man United, and whatever else. I do hope that when the game against Liverpool comes at Anfield, I think it's on the 10th of May, I think at least Martinelli and Saka will be back. I know there's a lot of talk about not rushing Saka, and I'm 100% convinced that this would be the right option. Just let him rest, let him recuperate, let the hamstring get at 100% before throwing him in. But if when 10th of May comes, we're still in a title battle, we're still in contention, we're still there, and he's 90% fit, you might need him for that game. I mean, looking at our attacking options, we have Sterling, Trossard, and Nwaneri. You can't beat Liverpool at Anfield with that front three. I'm sorry, you can't. Nwaneri, amazing. He's an amazing young talent, amazing player. Hopefully, the game time that he will get from now until the end of the season will do him a world of good, being exposed to game time and whatever else. But I do think that we need at least Martinelli, if not Martinelli and Saka, for the end of the season, right? Now, I don't know. Saka seemed a really tough player with a really good body and muscles and whatever else. He gets kicked a lot, like exaggerated, and he seems to not be phased, his body responds really good. I'm not sure, again, there's been a lot of talk about the hamstring injury. If he got the hamstring injury because he was overplayed, he played like a huge amount of games in the past 2.5 years, and that might be the case. I'm not sure. Obviously, there even doctors, we can watch clips and opinions and whatever else of doctors and experts. They don't even know, right? But hopefully, given the fact that he has such a good recovery gene and his body responds really well, let's hope that's the case for his recovery from the hamstring tear he suffered, and that he'll be able to give a hand. The main problem is that Arsenal need to keep pace with Liverpool until then, right? Until closer to the end of the season. And I'm not sure with this striking. I mean, let's be completely honest, right? Mikel Merino is not a striker. He's never going to be a striker. He never was. He's been brought as a midfielder, more specifically a defensive midfielder. His recoveries were really good, and he's a good player. But if he has like similar height to Havertz, and he's been brought as a midfielder like Havertz, doesn't mean that he can play as a striker. There's also the age difference, right? So once you're older, it's more difficult to get familiarized with a new role, especially the striker ones. Although you have to be encouraged by the fact that this guy who is a midfielder managed to stay on side more than our other attacking players like Trossard and Sterling, who were like in a battle who can get more offsides. I haven't managed. This is the first podcast, so I haven't managed to get my thoughts out there in regards to the January transfer window. I think if you guys listen to a lot of other podcasts and clips and fans and pundits and experts and whatever, you kind of have everything already. There's not much that hasn't been said. I just want to say that Arteta said that he wants to bring incredible quality players that can improve the squad on the spot. I think this was used as well as a shield because, if you don't bring nobody in and you have a similar scenario to what you have right now at Arsenal, you have this shield of saying, hey, we didn't find the right quality for Arsenal. And he also said he doesn't want to bring in just bodies, Truth being said, when the January transfer window shut, I think on the 4th of February, I think it was, Arsenal still had Martinelli and Havertz available. So the attacking was Martinelli, Havertz, Trossard, Sterling, and Ranieri. 5 players for 3 positions, let's say manageable. But you still, you want to keep money for the summer, right? You want to invest big, let's say. They daydreaming about Alexander Isak or some other player who costs above 100 million, right? As a striker. Let's imagine that, and you don't want to spend money, right? I completely understand, but there were options. You had the loan options, right? There have been a lot of players that got loaned without a loan fee. You would have spent some money on their wages and probably on their something to pay to their agents or something. But it wasn't. I don't think it would had such a huge impact on the summer transfer business. Like some players like Colomwani, Asensio. I know that I think at the beginning of the January transfer window, in the first week or first 2 weeks or something like that, I saw some rumors about Arsenal being interested in loaning Kingsley Coman, who would have been a great addition to our attacking line, right? You bring in Kingsley Coman, Colomwani, Asensio. Of course, you can bring in Rashford because you already have 2 players loaned out, and I don't think Arteta would have agreed to end one of the 2 loans just to bring in Rashford. But, Matthias Tel, those are like 4 players you could have brought in on loan without no obligation to buy, and they would have helped out for sure. Look at us, right? Any of those players coming in would have made a difference. It's good that we had, that Merino delivered. Again, tougher games are coming up. We're talking about, even West Ham. The positive is that you kind of have 1 week at your disposal. And I was even thinking that after Martinelli and Havertz got injured, I was hoping that Arteta, he's obviously a very smart man. He's, very passionate about football. He reads probably a lot. He he tries different things. So I'm not sure if like you can even change the formation. You know, I don't want to say a three at the back, but even I don't know 4-4-1-1 or 4-5-1 or something like that. You can try it. We have some really great midfielders. Jorginho is very experienced, so he can help exactly in this scenario, right? Arsenal have been in this scenario for the past 2 years, although they've been on the first place in the Premier League, and they were being chased by Manchester City. And they've been chased by Manchester City for so long, and they cracked under the pressure, right? Now, Liverpool have some experienced players. They also have some players that are new and haven't won the Premier League and so on. So they have a mix of players. Of course, you have to keep the pressure. They have some breathing room, Liverpool, right? 7 points. It's a lot of points. They might be able to keep it all the way. I do hope that Manchester City will beat them. So those might be 3 points dropped. And then we have the direct confrontation with them at Anfield. But again, at Anfield, you have to do something special, right? Like we did with Manchester City. Of course, we were at home when we beat them 5-1, and we had Havertz and Martinelli available. So we did something special, right? And Arteta, although it seemed that his, or Arsenal are cursed this season with having so many injuries, you also have to think that there's some blessings in there in Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri. They're two amazing players, and you can hear a lot of people talking about the fact that those two guys, they've managed to keep Arsenal in spending, I think, more than 60 million pounds, right? I think they're very, very valuable, and they're looking like everybody when they're talking about a player, and this is the debate if the player is world class or not. They're looking and they're saying, well, a player, in order to be world class, he should be consistent, right? He does all of the right things, scores goals, assists, dribbles, vision, a lot of things, wins, medals and cups and whatever. But can he do it on a consistent basis, right? And from what we can see from Lewis-Skelly and Nwaneri, they've been consistent for the numbers of games they played, which is much more than what a youngster would play at their age, right? So that's amazing. That's incredible. And coming back to the change of formation, various tactics for various games, you can play both Calafiori and Miles Lewis-Skelly on the left. Miles Lewis-Skelly in the academy was played as a midfielder, so he can play a little bit further forward, right? And Calafiori as a left back, because you have a plethora of options at left back. You have Tierney, you have Zinchenko, right? They can play there. So you have someone to bring in, right? And Tierney is a really good left back. When we signed him, I was really excited, but obviously due to injuries and Arteta's vision for inverted players, things didn't work out for Tierney. But I thought he was a really, really cool player. I still think he is. And thinking about Arteta's vision, I think I saw a clip Thierry Henry was talking about his time at Barcelona with Pep as manager, and he said that Pep was very strict in the way he set up his team until the final third, right? So he said he was telling his team to play in a very specific kind of way in the back and in midfield, right? All the way until the final third. In the final third, he said, be creative, guys. Be yourself. Express yourselves, And of course, you had incredible talent, and those guys were doing amazing things in the final third. I don't think that's the case for Arsenal, to be honest. I think, I'm looking sometimes at Martinelli. Amazing piece of business, right? I think 6 million he costs when we purchased him, and he showed glimpses of, Joga Bonita and things like this. Brazilian youngster who likes to play. I remember him dribbling through, like literally he passed through two players. I don't remember exactly the game, but some amazing things. And I don't think the fact that he stays with the eyes all the time, he's looking at the ground and he's not looking at his surroundings. It might be him, but also I think it's the way he's very strictly coached in a very specific manner. I don't think maybe Arteta should let the guys express themselves, like Martinelli, Saka, Havertz, Trossard. Just let them try different things, and you might be surprised. Instead of telling them exactly, hey, if you are with the ball here, you need to do that. Go to the byline, do that, come back, or whatever it is that they do. You need to let them loose a little bit, right? And also something about that, I don't know, Arteta, he's an amazing coach, he's an amazing manager, but for a long time, I've seen him so, like Wenger was like this. He was like, if something, he kept persisting with the same team, same formation. He was putting his faith a lot in the quality of the players, and it makes sense. However, I don't understand why, if you see that there are some teams that are doubling up on Saka, right? During the game, why don't you switch? You tell Saka to move on the left and Martinelli on the right, just for 10, 15, 20 minutes to give the defender something different, right? Because you can't, as the opposition manager, you can't instruct your team, double Saka on the right, double him on the left as well. You need to adapt, and if you bring in some unknown, if you bring something different, it might actually work, and the players have amazing quality. They have the ability to do this. They can do it. I'm sure they can. It's just that you have to have faith and let them express themselves. Today, there's the game Liverpool against Wolves. I don't think Liverpool will lose that game. Wolves, they're a little bit fighting for their lives, to be honest. I think they're the first place above relegation zone. So they need to watch out. They need to look over their shoulder all the time. So I think it will be a pretty interesting game. I'm hoping for a draw. Although after the game with Everton, I think Arne will kind of rally the troops and want to send a statement. I think like 90%. I think that they will win against Wolves, and they'll go back to 7 points. But given the fact that Arsenal won yesterday, it keeps the pressure right there. There isn't 7 points difference anymore. It's 4 points, and it makes the world of difference. You saw Arsenal last 2 years, how being put under pressure and everything was very, very challenging for them. So those are my thoughts. I'm sure in the next couple of days when I'll get some more podcasts out, I'll speak again about some of these topics. It's great we had a win. It's great we found a player, Merino, who I'm sure he will get some confidence out of scoring a double. I think he said this is his second double, I think, or he might have said that he had 2 doubles prior to this. I'm not sure, but it's very important. It's very moralizing, right? I think we're all looking forward to players like Odegaard, Rice. Although I'm a little bit worried about Rice. He's trying so hard. He's running a lot, he's covering a lot of ground, and he's trying to make things happen. Even in the Newcastle game in the Carling Cup, he was Carabao Cup, sorry. He wanted to make a point, So I'm a little bit afraid. Wenger was talking about the fabled red zone. I think Havertz and Martinelli were in the red zone, and I think they just popped. Because it's one thing that it's for sure, and that it's no coincidence, is that Saka, Martinelli, and Havertz, I think, were top 5 or top 6 players that played the most minutes for Arsenal this season. So something might be there, right? Something might have a connection with their injuries. And of course for Saka and for Havertz, there were not like hamstring strain, it was like tear, right? And that needs an operation, and you guys know the rest. The positive thing for now is that we have 1 week to rest, right? We're playing against West Ham next week on Saturday, so it's 7 days rest, recover, refresh those legs, put Merino on strikers training drills, and let's hope. I'll do a podcast on the West Ham game preview in the next couple of days, but I don't think Arteta should play Sterling, and I think a lot of people agree with that. I think even Arteta agrees with that. He shouldn't play Sterling. Maybe you can bring him on with like 20-30 minutes to go or less. If he's fresh, he can run a little bit at defenders. That's one thing that he does, but he just needs that extra couple of percentages of confidence. He's not as bad as Willian because he's trying. He's trying. Sometimes he's trying too hard. Maybe just keep it a little bit simple. Just try to stay on side more. A better pass than try dribbles and getting in crowded areas and falling over and things like that. Just try a pass and something simple. At least we have 1 week to enjoy the win against Leicester. I think the fact that you will find out in a couple of hours what happens in the game between Liverpool and Wolves. Fingers crossed it's a good result for Arsenal, right? And when I say that, I mean a draw or a Liverpool loss, although I don't think Wolves have any chance at Anfield. But yeah, who knows? Football is weird and unpredictable. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much if you listened until now. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you being here. I wish you an excellent what has left from the weekend. You guys have a good time, rest, and I wish you all the best for the week ahead. I'll come back with a podcast in the next couple of days. Thank you so much and wishing you all the best. Bye guys.